Guys, I'm Steve. Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to another video. If it's your first time stopping by the channel, hit that subscribe button. Trust me, you won't regret it. If you're a returning subscriber, as always, guys, welcome back, and I appreciate the support. Guys, yesterday, I did a video on Porsche Wells. She's the woman pictured up here. She's the one that, if you're looking at the news lately, out of Clayton County, Georgia, she's the one who has the 6-year-old in critical condition fighting for his life after getting physically abused and beat senselessly over the weekend by this man right here, Napoleon 8. Now, yesterday I did the story, and she was the only one featured in the story, and I'll explain why that was yesterday. And we're going to talk a little bit about him because some information has been brought up about the situation that led to him beating this 6-year-old boy almost to death. Now, before I play this video clip, I said a lot of things yesterday that were just from my perspective, how I seen it, how heinous this crime is, and how they both should get the maximum penalty. So I don't know if Georgia has the death penalty or something like that. If they do, they need to go to the front of the line. This is totally unacceptable. There's no way a child like this should be fighting for his life during the summertime when he should be having fun. I'm going to go ahead and roll this video, and we'll come back and talk about it. Let's go.
A mother and her boyfriend are behind bars tonight, charged with the brutal abuse of a 6-year-old.
Clayton County police say the little boy spent days without medical attention and has severe injuries. Fox 5's Eric Perry was the only reporter there as the child's mother was taken to jail.
This is a story that has even angered Clayton County police and investigators. They let Porsche Wells out of this door into a patrol car off to jail while her 6-year-old son fights for his life in a hospital.
Is there anything you would like to say? Nothing at all?
Complete silence from a handcuffed Porsche Wells as Clayton County police escort her out of the police department into a patrol car and off to jail. Wells and her boyfriend, Napoleon 8, face several charges in the abuse of a 6-year-old.
He was punching the 6-year-old like he was a grown man.
Julia Isaac with Clayton County police say they initially got the call to a Metro Atlanta hospital as the child was unresponsive and unconscious, brought in by his mother.
Napoleon 8 believed that the 6-year-old stole $80 from him and gave it to his roommate.
Police believe that was Sunday and say the child was severely beaten for days until his mom took him to the hospital Tuesday. Wells initially told police she wasn't there during the time of the assault, but say she changed her story and stood by as her child was beaten.
She went about her daily life. She went to work. She went and got her nails did. Horrible what this baby had to endure.
Wells and 8 face several child cruelty and battery charges. Wells has an additional charge of lying to police. As for the 6-year-old, he needs your prayers.
The 6-year-old is currently suffering from a brain bleed, a blood clot to the lung, several broken bones.
And there is yet another person impacted by all of this. I'm told Porsche Wells had another child, an 8-year-old inside of that house, who's now been handed over to the state.
All right, guys, that was the news article. And this guy right here, Napoleon 8, is not a man. He's not a role model. He's not a fatherly influence or a father figure for that matter, which they both count as the same. He's a coward and a bully. She's no different. Ma'am, you gave a man, strange man, he's foreign to that child, the green light to hurt your son. You gave him permission to hurt your child. Now, guys, supposedly, Napoleon 8 accused the 6-year-old of stealing $80 and giving it to his roommate. Now, common sense folk like you and I would say, why you didn't fight the roommate? after he accepted the money. So one of two things happened. Either the roommate found, the roommate came back to him and said he got the money from the kid and the money was already spent. He got mad, took it out on the kid. Or the second thing is, when he got the money, the roommate didn't say anything until after the boy was beat real bad. What y'all think? Or it might be something else that I'm missing. The bottom line is this. A 6-year-old boy is in the hospital right now and had no protection. That woman treated that boy on a disciplinary level like she didn't even know him. And this man didn't have enough sense to know that beating a kid like he's some dude in the street that committed an infraction against you wanted you to treat him like he was a man. What is he? 7, 6 years old at the most? 6-year-old kid. He can't defend himself against you. And you knew it. You took your anger out, didn't show no reserve. She gave you the green light to hurt her son, and you took the full advantage of that. Now, where does that leave us? Now, I'm going to show you something. If you look at this picture, right? The reason why he has a mugshot up there and they didn't show him yesterday in the news is because of this. I think he was locked up before her. They didn't break the story because, he's just a dude in jail. And it wasn't no, story with it until more details came out after they interviewed him and talked to him about when it took place and all this stuff like this. Then they went and got her. Then another thing is, look how crazy it is. When she got caught, what did she say, guys? I wasn't there when it happened. She lied. Then later on, she recanted her statements because I guess they're going back and forth and says, hey, we talked to him. And he said, how the interrogation goes. Those of you who have been incarcerated, you know the game. Hey, we talked to him and he said you was right there. In fact, he told you to leave the room on occasion. And you did. Oh, yeah, it was me. Both the man and the woman are wrong in this. And the reason why I feel like I keep going harder at the woman than I am at the man, guys, hear me out on this. It's because she's the mother, the protector. She brought that devil around her child. Look at this guy. Look at his neck girth. That's a heavy set guy. It's a strong man. You understand what I'm saying? I said some things yesterday that I had predicted. I said he was a big guy, a strong looking dude, older guy. He looked older than her. You know what I'm saying? And they don't match up when you show the pictures. Now, I'm not judging her or body shaming her. People are who they are, but it don't look like a match standard wise. And a lot of people know what I'm saying, and don't let that trigger you. This guy right here was using her. And in the end, he used her for a doormat, and he used the child for a punching bag. What else can you say? That's how I see it. That's how the facts are presented to us. He didn't like that child, and he didn't like the woman. A lot of times, men like this, which I tell everybody to avoid, usually have an issue with the woman, but he can't get through to her. He'll take it out on the child. Think about it. They had a roommate in the house. So you got her 2 children, and she did have 2 children, guys. They said now they had an 8-year-old child. I think the 8-year-old child, and this is just me speaking up, I think the 8-year-old child most likely was a girl. And the reason why I say most likely she was a girl is because for some reason the boy was beat mercilessly like this. And the girl, the child, the reason why I think the child was a girl is because she's the older child. And it seems as though nothing happened to her. and there's no other things of abuse. Because I'm gonna tell you something. A lot of times, boys get abused more than girls when it comes to how men discipline them on a physical level. You understand what I'm saying? A girl, you might spank or whatever, but a guy will look at a boy and treat him different a lot of times. Now, it's not all the time, but it's a lot of time. Look at a lot of these child abuse cases. A lot of times when they're child abuse cases, them little boys be catching hell. Now, little girls do too. But I mean, if you look at a lot of child abuse cases, a lot of them, the boys are getting the business really bad. If he stole $80, right? You could have took the $80 out of your pocket. We know you had it because you went and got your hair and nails done, supposedly. Getting your nails done, ladies, you know is expensive, like $75, $80, sometimes over $100. You could have replaced the money and sacrificed your nails for the health of your son, but you didn't do that. You didn't. And that's the part that's messed up. Then you wanted to lie and act like you wasn't in it, but you know the truth would have got caught up. And that's me know that you know the whole thing was wrong from the jump, but you were just trying to keep that man. I guarantee you the roommate is friends of him and not her. He might have moved in the crib. Hey, let my man stay here for a little bit. He trying to get on his feet too. Knowing her, she trying to keep the man around, you know. She went along with it, even if she probably didn't like it or not. Stop bringing strange men or men that mean no good will to you or your children around you. Just because you like somebody, your relationship with a man is different than a child's relationship with the man, especially if he's not the kid's father. She knows better. She knows better. She has more charges than him. I think, granted, one because she lied. They add that lying charge to it. But if God don't mean you no good, and all you doing is giving and giving, and he's just taking and not giving you nothing back, this guy is not a father figure. He's not a role model, and he's not positive. For a man to love you, 50% of you is in that child. So with him loving you, he should love that child because that child is part of you. Another thing is this, ladies, and I'm gonna say this real quick. And it just hit me in the head. I'm gonna just say this. If you have a man and you don't have confidence that he will take care of your children like he takes care of you, well, let me say this. If he doesn't defend your children like he would defend you, if something happened to you, you would have to worry about your children around him and whether he would really care for them. He ain't the one for you. He's not. This guy's a user. It's no good in him. No good in him. To beat a little boy damn near to death and then tell her at certain times, get out the room. And another thing is this. Yesterday, they said he was beat several times. Honestly, guys, I think he was beaten once. And the reason why I say he was beaten once, in that video I just said, they said the beating. Yesterday it was a fresh story, so you know a lot of things was confused. But they said the beating. So I guess Mr. H said, hey, I only beat him one time. And if he did, that's really bad. And that's hate and rage. My children have made me mad when they were young, but I've never had and conceived in my head that I'm going to cripple them or damn near kill them and put them in critical condition. And you know how it is, God's children make you mad. But I've never, in my head, in the back of my mind, thought about I was going to devastate this child because I can. I'm going to teach him what it is to be a man. Why you didn't fight the roommate? Why is the roommate still there? Why? That's your boy. And he'll fight back. It's a coward, man. It's a coward. I mean, I don't know what else to say. You sat there and listen, every blow that boy took was the equivalent of being in a car accident over 40 miles an hour without a seatbelt on. And you know he was hit multiple times in the face, in the chest, and I'm sure he was stomped on. He had broken bones, blood clots to the lungs, and he also had brain hemorrhaging. And you sitting around here going to work on Monday and Tuesday, knowing he's in and out of consciousness, not being himself. He had broken bones. You had to see he was disfigured. Then you took him to the damn hospital unconscious because he was unresponsive to you. My son is hurt. I don't know what happened. If somebody's in a car accident, or somebody gets hit with a hammer, or somebody gets chomp, they can tell somewhat of what happened to cause such injuries. And you coming in there with a beaten and battered baby. I don't know what happened to my son. What the hospital do, guys, call law right on her. You got some questions to answer, ma'am. I didn't know he was beat. You can't look at that child and tell he was physically pummeled. I don't know if they have lethal injection or the electric chair or whatever, but they need to put her and him to the front of the line. Now she got an 8-year-old child that, has been turned over to the state. Turned over to the state. All of this. You lost everything for nothing. He's in jail where he should be. You in jail where you should be. He's fighting for his life. You ain't even at the bedside to hold his hand. She's not. Certain things, I'm sorry, don't fix, such as this. He's in there hurt, wondering where his mom's at. Around a bunch of strangers giving him love that he wasn't getting in the house. His sibling, 9-year-old, whether it's a boy or girl, now she's in the system without a family. So you got y'all in the system in a negative way, your baby in the system another way, and this baby in the hospital. We are dysfunctional. A lot of people say, Steve, you get worked up and stuff, and you got to calm down. And I appreciate your concern, but you got to understand something. This is something we don't talk about, and we need to talk about it because this is serious. This is serious. If you go and look at the genealogy of a lot of serial killers, they had massive head injuries and were abused as a kid. And then you wonder why all of us younger, the youth now is violent, uncaring, don't have no sensitivity or compassion towards each other. Everything is brutality. Brutality. We are our own worst enemy. And it's spreading. It's spreading out. I'm Stock Market Steve for the Dynamic Reason channel. As always, like, comment, share, subscribe. I am who I am on my channel, guys. And
if you think I'm here to play around with y'all, God damn it, I'm not.
it is what it is. You guys take care.